But we have another important management joining us on the show, and this is Mr. Deepak Shetty. He's CEO and Managing Director of JCB India, joining us on the show. We wanted to discuss with him how the overall infrastructure sector is panning out, how's the demand from the construction sector, because looks like, Deepak, it's a very bullish commentary that we read in one of the pink papers that you are suggesting that double-digit growth is likely to continue and there could be a multiplier effect in the entire sector as well. Talk to us about those demand trends you're witnessing.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me. Yes, indeed. And all these things, thanks to the Honorable Government's focus on infrastructure development. We have seen the announcements made as a part of the budget by the Honorable Finance Minister. But what is very heartening to see is we are seeing the impact on the ground, particularly in the infrastructure development sector. So whether it is about the roads or the Jal Jeevan project, or the various rural initiatives which are being taken, and particularly the improvement in the rural economy, all of these are contributing towards the development of the construction equipment business. I want to remind the listeners that the construction equipment industry in India today is the third largest in the world, and we are very confident, and based on what we are seeing last few years, we are very confident that by 2030 it will be the second largest in the world. So that is the opportunity in front of us. And if I specifically talk about the year 2023, in the year 2023, the industry has grown by almost 18% over the previous year. And on top of the development that is taking place in the local market, I'm very pleased to mention to you that we are now exporting to more than 130 countries from India. And this is because not only of the cost advantage, but because of the quality of the products that are manufactured in India. And that's why we are seeing the development. If I specifically speak about JCB, I'm very proud that at JCB we have actually tripled our exports in last 4 years, and this year we are improving our exports by almost 30%, and 50% of our exports are to North America. So it tells you the story about how strong, how well the global customer is looking at the manufactured products supplied from India, and that's why I always say that probably our industry is an embodiment of Atmanirbharta or Make in India for the world.
That's a very interesting point, I would say a headline which you've given, that India's construction equipment industry is third largest in India and will move to the second spot by 2030. You had also earlier made a comment which Anisha was referring to of 4-5 times growth for JCB in the next 7-8 years. So there are two parts to it. One is your overall net revenue base is increasing at a very scorching clip, and the other, the elements of that, domestic, which is India is also going through a lot of manufacturing, so domestic part plus export story. So if you can break it down, what we understand your base is expanding. So what is the growth rate in terms of percentage terms overall do you see, and both the segments, what kind of growth rates are we talking about?
So we are seeing we expect to grow at a CAGR or CAGR of almost 12 to 14%. And obviously, this is over a 5 years period, because next year again elections, and there'll be some impact because of that. But otherwise, as a sector, and particularly because of the national infrastructure pipeline project that the government has, the various focus, whether it is not only on the road construction but also on the railways and other elements, the airports, etc., we are seeing that over the next 5 years, our domestic market itself will grow, as I said earlier. But one other advantage we are going to get is, as we move up the value chain from the emissions norms point of view, the more and more developed market will get open for the machines which are produced in India, because we'll be meeting the emission norms of those countries, and that will create a larger market. So overall, I would say the growth in the domestic market should be with a CAGR of almost 12%, but with the export market should be growing at around 20%.
12% CAGR include exports, that takes it to 20%. But Deepak, do you have enough capability in terms of ramping up this production as well? Because clearly it looks like the order visibility is strong. In terms of the capacity and capacity expansion, what are the plans?
So, JCB always believes in investing, not looking at the market, but more importantly, looking at the future. So I'm pleased to mention that even during COVID times, we invested in a brand new facility in Vadodara, which is a 100% export unit. And I'm very proud that my team completed this particular project. And I'm sure you're aware that the then British Prime Minister and Lord Bamford, they inaugurated this facility along with the Gujarat Chief Minister. And that's why ahead of time, we continuously invest. And we continue to invest not only in the capacity, but also capability, also more importantly in the new technology. And that is why I want to bring you to the point about last few days back, we introduced Asia's first construction equipment, which is running on hydrogen combustion engine. So JCB also focuses on bringing new technology and introducing it into the local market.
You know, the other thing I want to talk to you about is that when we travel abroad, especially to construction sites or even watch these, Hollywood movies, I always wonder that these machines, right, the construction equipment machines are much larger and huge compared to the ones we see around here in India. Are you witnessing as project sizes become larger, as construction sites, we are seeing the rise of skyscrapers across, at least, here in Mumbai, and when I travel in the smaller towns as well, are you seeing much more bigger and much more sophisticated construction equipment demand also coming back here? Because that is where the margins are higher, right?
Yeah, it's a very good point and very important point you are making. But first, let me address the movie buff in you. I'm sure there are recently some local movies also which are showing some JCB machines or construction equipment machines, and they are very creatively used by some of the directors. We feel very happy. But your point is very valid. But I want to break it into two parts. The growth which is happening in our country, it is happening on one side on the infrastructure, the big projects which are coming up, the mining side, and this will certainly need larger equipment. And that is where the industry is going to. But at the same time, I think we also need equipment which are on the smaller sides, which are on the wheels, which can go to the rural, the rural areas, the areas where the roads have not reached or the water has not reached. And that is why there is a balance that, unlike in the Western world, where some of these infrastructure developments have already taken place, so they are looking more at the larger machines. In India, the larger machines certainly will be required on those big size projects, but there is also an equal demand or probably more demand for the smaller size machines.
Okay, Deepak, on that note, we'll let you go. Appreciate you making time and speaking with us. So that's a very bullish commentary coming in on India, the Indian infrastructure space, and how the overall industrials is also likely to move up, not only by domestic demand, mind you, but also the export demand that we are managing to kind of meet now.